Hi, I'm Dianna Donnelly. Welcome to Words on Herbs, where Miranda and I discuss the power of herbs like cannabis in our everyday, daily lives. Have you ever wondered what makes some strains uplifting? Have you ever wondered where to begin your home garden? Have you ever wondered how to get that bud into something edible in a hurry? You found the right podcast. Welcome and stay tuned.
Thank you, Dianna, and thank you, everybody, for joining us here today on Words on Herbs. I am Miranda Harlow, and I am just so dang grateful to be sitting here with Dianna Donnelly as we discuss all things cannabis. Wow, there is a lot to talk about, right? I am sure that many of you have a ton of questions, maybe even concerns. And one of the things that I love most about cannabis is its ability to bring people together. And that is why Dianna and I are here and will be here every week so that we can not only talk about our experiences and our journey, but yours.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us for Words on Herbs podcast number 3. Miranda, how are you today?
I am good, Dianna. I am actually en route to Dawson Creek my mom and I have to get some paperwork finished for our retail application license, I guess. So, yeah.
That's exciting.
Yes, I'm driving through a very piney, dense area, and it smells and it looks beautiful, and there's lots of snow on the ground.
Oh, beautiful. That's awesome. And you're going to fill us in on part 2 of terpenes later on. But first, I wanted to touch on our ailment of the podcast, or ailment of the segment, and that is going to be arthritis, because so many people suffer from it, and something that can really help a lot of people. So I thought that we would look at that one, if that's okay with you.
Oh, I think that's great, Dianna. I really do. I know so many people that suffer from arthritis, and you're absolutely right. It doesn't necessarily happen only in elderly people. This is common in, even people younger than me, and I'm 32, so very uncomfortable for a lot of folk.
Exactly, and it's funny, we live our life and we try to stay active and we try to do a lot of stuff, and the side effect of that is wear and tear, which then leads into arthritis quite often, It's a lot of people coming in for arthritis, and a lot of those people were new users. They had never used cannabis before, and we know that demographic, so like 50 and up, are on sometimes more than one or more than 3 or 4 medications, which can contraindicate or can, make dosing a little bit more difficult. So I always told people to start with a topical application. Have you had any success with that?
Recently, I had really bad shoulder pain, just from tension and stress all up in the back of my head. I've even applied for headaches, and so yeah, I find that topicals are a great approach and really safe for new users, and also seem to be working as effectively, in some cases anyways, knowing that there are CB1 and CB2 receptors in our skin. It makes sense that, you're getting that absorption rate, and you're getting everything that you need from a topical. One thing that I'm finding, in people across the board, like all age, is that we're starting now to take more holistic approaches.
Yes.
And, I often think of, people who are in chronic pain, they're suffering, they're hurting, their joints hurt, their muscles hurt, they're not sleeping, they have restless legs, and, a lot of elderly people, they would have had more herbal holistic approaches when they were younger, and then, kind of lose that over time. And then now we're finding they're coming back, and they're taking that more holistic approach, which is probably one of the reasons terpenes and cannabis excite me so much. Yeah. And I'm thinking maybe this is why I'm like a bush baby, and I love being back home in northern Alberta right now, because I'm in the boreal forest and I'm surrounded by pine trees, and my dad smells like pine trees, and you know what I mean? It's just everything kind of, it's interesting.
For a lot of people who are new cannabis users, they're using CBD because it's, non-intoxicating. And so a lot of people are getting benefit because inflammation is a major thing with arthritis. And when you're swollen, just when we're, retaining water, how uncomfortable that is. So reducing that swelling can be wonderful. And so the CBD, you could take that at nighttime with myrcene as your terpene, or you could find one that has some uplifting terpenes for the daytime. So let's get into that a little bit more. I know that there are so many other terpenes out there other than those two. So let's talk about that.
So there are the aromatic molecules. They're found in all aromatic plants, even some insects, which I find really interesting, but it makes sense because we know terpenes, although they are, therapeutically benefit us, they also are biologically effective, right? And they're defending themselves against predators. They're attracting pollinators. They're fighting diseases. They're also protecting themselves against, extreme weather conditions.
Yeah.
Yes. And so let me see. So we do know there are about 200 plus terpenes. That's the number that seems to be going around right now, although I'm sure we'll discover many more. They're not solely found in cannabis, obviously. So let's dive in. I was thinking, because I'm on the road and because I'm back in Alberta, I would start with pinene.
Nice.
Yeah, okay, so there's alpha and beta, and when doing research, the two seem to have very similar effects. So they're the most prevalent terpenoid found in nature. You can find them in balsamic resin, pine woods, some citrusy fruits, sage, and rosemary. I think that might be my favorite terpene now that I've learned about, because there's so many, obviously, then we go into myrcene, and we know that, a muscle relaxant, a sleep aid, it's sedative. One neat thing about myrcene is it actually allows THC to take effect more quickly.
Oh, so those two work synergistically as well. That's amazing.
Yes, and it's known to lower resistance across the blood to brain barrier, which, then it's increasing the absorption, right, which that would be why the THC goes into effect quicker. And so you can recognize myrcene from its musky, earthy, herbal, spicy aromas.
Mm-hmm. But the benefits are feeding an inherent system in your body, which has got to feed health and happiness and whatnot.
Exactly. So, I guess I'll go on to linalool. Like I was saying, I was drinking my Earl Grey tea. I don't know what variety of lavender linalool would be found in my Earl Grey tea, but it is prominent. The linalool is prominent in lavender. Another great one that I didn't know was in birch bark. And rosewood, and I actually really appreciated the birch bark one because, funny enough, linalool is an antidepressant and an anti-anxiety, and it helps mediate stress. And so I grew up, like I said, in northern Alberta, and that's where I am right now, and we have tons of birch trees, and that's my favorite. I love sitting with birch trees. Yeah. So, and applied topically, it's good for healing. I mean, this is one that you can find so much information on because it is so prominent in, like, you know, you can find it in soaps and perfumes. You can find it in body washes or like shampoos, conditioners. It's everywhere.
Okay, Miranda, that was awesome. I love that I learned so much from these phone calls that we have here, and I'd like to thank everybody for joining as well.
Thank you, guys. That was great.
Yeah,
Look forward to doing it again next week, Diana.
Me too. So I think we should talk about another very common thing, being depression and anxiety next week. So if you have these conditions, which, hey, I believe almost all of us do, tune in. And if you know somebody who is having and struggling with this, you never know. There could be something in the cannabinoid family or the terpene or the herbal family that would help them. And we're going to get some examples, and we're going to make sure that you can put it out into your own pack and help each other out.
Yes, there is a such thing as the winter blues, and, you know, Christmas isn't a happy season for everybody. And so,
Exactly.
I think
Great.
I look forward to this topic.